The Witcher, Blood Origin is the newest Netflix series that takes us back in time to the continent's forgotten past. First episode is an action-packed introduction to the series, setting up the characters, their motivations and the conflict they will soon face. With the promise of a thrilling adventure, it will be interesting to see how the story unfolds in the next episodes. The first episode, of Ballads, Brawlers and Bloodied Blades, introduces us to the world of the elves and their political struggles, as well as the characters that will be integral to the story. We first meet Jaskier, a cowardly man who is about to be killed in a sword fight. Suddenly, time freezes and an elf appears, revealing that he needs Jaskier to sing a story to life. We then jump back 1,200 years to follow the journey of 6 outcasts, led by Lark, who are on a quest for vengeance. Lark finds herself locked up in a tavern after she makes swift work of a troublemaker, and there she finds Fjall, another outcast, as her cellmate. Fjall is then released and runs into Shin, who pleads with him to come back as the king is about to start a peace treaty between the two kingdoms. Lark manages to break out of her cell and finds her sister, who has been recruited to be part of this upcoming peace treaty. But Lark refuses to go down the path of the blade again and instead receives a prophetic message when a young barmaid is possessed. Fjall then saves Lark when a whole bunch of assassins show up and begin attacking. As it turns out, the attackers are Scían warriors teaming up with the Prussians, and Fjall and Éile find themselves wanted by the officials. The pair decide to team up and forge a new alliance to get revenge on Merwin and destroy the beast that runs with her. With this, the pair march on, while we learn that the other monarchs are sailing to sign a treaty to end the 1,000-year war. But it is not to be, as a giant CGI beast is conjured by Baelor and wipes out all 3 kingdoms. The new Golden Empire is now at Merwin's command, as Baelor wants to use the gateways to conquer worlds in order to civilize them and bring a new beginning for them all. Fjall and Éile, determined to make good on their mission, head off to find Scían of the Ghost Tribe, who eventually joins them on their quest. In Episode 2 of The Witcher, Blood Origin, we follow Meldof's quest to find Taliesin of the One Eye, while Scían, Éile, and Fjall find themselves heading south to avoid the growing empire. In addition, Merwin the Massacre has her own agenda, as she wants to expand the empire. Meldof takes us on a bloody journey as she dispatches all the elves with her warhammer in search of Taliesin. Meanwhile, the trio are forced to fight through a number of warriors at the bank in the small village of Dadewood, and manage to break into a vault below. Merwin the Massacre decides that the best course of action going forward is a marriage, and sets her sights on Fjall. She wants to show Baelor that the military and the crown are one, and to show that he answers to them, not the other way round. The 4 eventually make it to a healer, who is joined by Sindril, who's now out of his cell. They enact a plan to destroy the monolith and fell the great beast, and Sindril takes them to a strange world where a creature rises up and begins attacking them. The third episode of The Witcher, Blood Origin, of Warriors, Wakes, and Wondrous Worlds, takes us on an adventurous journey of betrayal and secrets. With the Golden Empire closing in, the 7 are in need of a plan to take down the beast and restore peace to the continent. Éile and Fjall, who have grown closer, find themselves arguing over who should drink the elixir that will bond them to the beast. Meldof then reveals that she has been in contact with Baelor, who has told her about the beast and its capabilities. Fjall eventually takes it upon himself to drink the elixir, and he undergoes a grueling process that almost kills him, but gives him the power of a witcher. Meanwhile, Avalakh steals the book from Baelor, but is discovered and almost killed by the chief sage until Merwin and Eredin stage their coup and lock him up. Scían takes the opportunity to betray the group and head to Scían in search of the Soul Reaver sword, and she is soon joined by Uthrak Onenut and a group of Sellswords. Episode 4 of The Witcher, Blood Origin, of Mages, Malice, and Monstrous Mayhem, brings the prequel series to an epic conclusion. The episode picks up with Merwin the Massacre planning to conquer new lands and rule them all with one leader. Baelor conjures a portal and betrays them all, killing Fenric and embracing his newfound chaos powers. Meanwhile, Scían leads the group through the streets and up to the palace, where Avalakh reveals that Sindril's portals can allow them to travel through time as well as to other worlds. Outside, Éile rallies the troops to her side to overthrow the Empire. Merwin decides to betray Scían and holds her up at sword point, deciding to have her beheaded and destroyed. Éile then rallies the common folk into rioting with her song about the lowborn rising, while Fjall squares off against the monster. The group eventually join together, and Callan and Xhakar kiss before parting ways and heading off to stop the monolith. Geldof gets struck in the shoulder with an arrow, but she just shrugs it off, ripping it out and continuing on with her fighting. The pair of mages, Xhakar and Sindral, realize that Baelor can control chaos magic and try to work out what to do about this. Éile's singing manages to bring Fjall back, but she eventually stabs him and kills him. The sky streams with a kaleidoscope of color, as worlds collide, and the conjunction of the spheres takes place. The series has been an exciting adventure, and the final episode has set the stage for the main series. With the first Witcher born and the continent changed forever, the future of the continent is now in the hands of the new generation.